Hello, this is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3. And in this particular video, I want to talk about PhD work-life balance. So if you don't know me, I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship, and I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that helped me out to get through graduate school that I decided to pay the favor forward. And I actually created this sort of sharing economy proofreading app. That's the whole reciprocity thing. It's a work in progress. It definitely is. Still working on it, and I think it'll be continuously a work in progress. But then I'm doing these YouTube videos as well. So when we think about work-life balance, we often think of them as sort of at odds with each other. So if you do one thing, so if you're working and you're in the office, then you can't do the other, right? So the normal view that we understand it is that you go to the office, right? You drive to the office and you spend the 9 to 5 or a 9 to whatever your hours are, and then you go home and you spend your time at home in terms of your life, and you're constantly at battle with these kind of things. So I have actually a little bit of a funny story. I had a retake with this video because one of my little guys ran it. He's 7 years old. His birthday is tomorrow. So anyways, one of my little guys came in and interrupted me. So I had to restart everything. So this is a moment where there is a bit of work-life balance tension where if I actually, I'm trying to do a video, or maybe I'm trying to do some writing or whatever it is, then if somebody interrupts me, automatically, I can't focus on the writing or doing something like that while I'm paying attention to my kiddos. And so what I'm doing is doing this sort of trade-off that happens, right? And we often think of it in terms of exclusion or a cost of each other. So I prefer to think about the work-life balance in terms of what we deal with on a daily basis. And one thing that's a beautiful thing with getting a PhD or going to graduate school and getting a kind of, if you become like a creative worker, and I think anybody that's a creative worker that has a lot of flexibility, we have a lot of sort of difficulties that we deal with, but at the same time, there's some benefits that you actually get from it. And this is one thing that's really cool, that you can create a life and design a life such that you can build upon the benefits of both sides, right? And then instead of thinking of sort of this large cluster of this is work and this is a large cluster of home, and you have all of these different items and features of work and all these different items and features of home, and they're battling each other. What you can do is sort of pick the best things, pick the best features of work and pick the best features of home and try to play them up against each other so that you're constantly improving your situation, improving what you're actually doing. So let me give you an example, right? So writing is a difficult thing for me. And also, doing home life sometimes is a difficult thing for me. The stresses of home life sometimes is really stressful, driving around, doing all that kind of stuff. So at the moment that I feel kind of anxious, or I feel not so, things are not really necessarily right, that my stress level is increasing in terms of a barometer, it's a moment where I can suggest to myself, or as a trigger to myself, that it's possible time to switch. Now, if somebody is doing complete work-life balance separation where they are focused on, I'm just going to do work, then they're going to feel not necessarily that they can do this sort of switch and go into different modes. But if you're trying to blend and look at the different features of each other, so for example, if I'm writing and I start getting that feeling in me that I start feeling stressed out, or my eyes start going buggy, which they do, right? If any of you have sat in front of a computer after a couple of hours, they go buggy. Then it's a moment for me to take a break and maybe go for a walk. And since I'm at home with my kids, it's spring break, I can go for a walk with them, or, do something that's fun, maybe have a little bit of a break for dinner or a break for whatever, and spend a little bit of time with them. And that gives me a little bit of time to recuperate. And then once there is a moment where I'm starting to feel a little bit stressed out, so I'm not spending enough time doing work, then I can switch back to that as well. And you can shift gears back and forth until you're kind of having a holding pattern that is sort of improving your life and improving your perspective in general. Whenever you feel these kind of moments, it's a good time to sort of change and do something else. And so there's another thing that you can look at in terms of one thing that's really cool with our career. I actually was I walked into work last week, and one of my colleagues was putting on this really cool seminar for PhD students at my institution about work-life balance. And I got to watch what they were doing, and I thought it was really cool, some of the lessons that they were suggesting. And it got me thinking about other things. And this one's really important in terms of job design or creating the career that you actually want and sort of focusing on the things that you want to do going forward. And you have to sort of think about what your priorities are and sort of build things that allow you to do that at a scalable scale, right? The things that you actually like to do and focus on those particular things. So if you're somebody that really likes theory, for example, you can pick and choose all the things that lead you to develop theory and ideas and stuff. If you're an empirical person and you love looking at data, well, you can start working on doing empirical stuff and building your sort of program around empirical data analysis. The other thing that you could do is sort of pick and choose. We have these sort of three pillars in academia, right? So service, we have research, and we have teaching. Well, you can combine the different elements of those and the things that you like and actually build upon that. That's part of the reason why I was thinking about the whole reciprocity project is I wanted to do something that makes a difference and helps out other people, but it was also scalable in a way that other people can use this thing. And I didn't know how to do this. So I thought, well, bring it online, right? And do something that's online, and maybe it'll be a little bit scalable and help out a lot of people that's out there. So that was the whole idea behind it in terms of the job design or career design that you can build and sort of look at ways that you can leverage what you're good at and do that going forward. And that's a really cool thing with work-life balance or work-life design when you're doing a PhD or any kind of graduate work, is that it's not about the balance itself, but it is more about picking and choosing the things that you want to do and optimizing on those things that you want to do. And then as well, using the moments where there is kind of, you're not feeling good about one particular thing as a moment to switch to do something else. And we have the flexibility to do that. So even when you're writing a paper, for example, you can actually go into this mode where you're writing, but then after a while, you kind of get tired of writing, right? It just gets tedious and boring and you get stressed out. Well, then you could take a little quick walk, come back and start doing something like data analysis or reading a paper or doing something along those lines that allow you to switch and blend these different things all together, and so that you can actually have a little bit more fun with your life and enjoyment with your life and move forward with what you're trying to do. That's all. That's the entire message that I wanted to say in terms of PhD work-life balance. Hopefully you liked it. Give me a thumbs up if you do. Please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, take care. I got to go back to hanging out with my kiddos. All right, bye.